Hello and welcome to We Care Conversations. This is a mental health and wellness podcast brought to you by the Mental Health and Recovery Services Board of Allen, Auglaize, and Hardin counties. Yeah, you're getting good. I'm one of your hosts, Cody Ridenauer. I should introduce myself.
And I am the other host, Elisa Bradley.
Just a little snippet about us this time.
Okay.
So I own Moto Media along with my business partner, Chad, and we've been doing PR and marketing for the Mental Health Board for over 12 years now. So I know a little bit, but I'm still curious.
Absolutely, and that's the important part, is that we stay curious. Elisa Bradley, I'm a licensed therapist for the state of Ohio, and I've been contracting with the board to make sure that our communities know what's out there and what's available. And then I'm also a counselor in private practice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you are actually an expert.
Yes. Let me sit up straight. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Well, I think your intro dovetails nicely into the introduction of our guest. Would you like to introduce Byron?
Certainly. So today's guest is our friend and colleague in the community, Byron Selden. Byron is a part of our Mental Health and Recovery Services Board workforce development space. So we're going to allow you to share some of that, and then we're going to ask you some questions about what you do in the community and how people can engage with you. So Byron, tell us about yourself.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Start wherever you like.
Wherever I like.
Yes.
So I've been part of the community, all my life.
Yes.
I was born in Pittsburgh, so I'm a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan. That will never change. But I've been part of this community since a child. Locally, I went to, a lot of the local elementaries, but I finished out my high school journey at Elida, so I'm a Bulldog. But nevertheless, I've been part of this community for a long time, and how I got involved with the Mental Health Board is really based on my relationship that I had with Health Partners of Western Ohio. I can do consulting, so Health Partners for a number of years had outsourced their HR department to my team, and that's how Tammy probably had got to know me a little bit better. But I also served on I think it was Lutheran Social Services. I was on their advisory committee for a number of years, and so that was another way of my relationship with Tammy as well. But one of the things that my responsibility when I was with Health Partners, I was part of their recruiting team, and basically I was recruiting all the providers, which in that organization, that includes primary care, so that would be your physicians, nurse practitioners, and what have you. And then I also was recruiting the behavioral health team, so your licensed independent social workers, licensed professional clinical counselors.
Yes, don't forget us.
That's right. And then of course there was your physician assistants. I also was recruiting the dentists. I mean, it was every provider available that worked under that platform. I was recruiting. So when you're recruiting, there's the goal is to obtain team members. And you're going to get them from wherever. So there was a lot of opportunities to basically poach from those who were working in the behavioral health organizations locally. And so, I'm sure I didn't make Tammy happy during those years because, we had some nice, financial packages. But one of the key things that we had that was attractive to those clinicians that we were looking at was loan repayment programs.
Yes.
Okay, and so let me just kind of share a little bit about that.
Because education ain't cheap.
That's correct.
That's bad English, but good understanding. Exactly. It ain't cheap.
It's not cheap at all. So one thing that was a lot through, I'm sure you've heard of HRSA. Mm-hmm. If not,
tell me more.
Yeah. So at the federal level, there is Health and Human Services. Mm-hmm. Underneath Health and Human Services is a division called HRSA, Health Resources Service Administration, to be exact. Okay. Underneath that group is the National Health Service Corps. There's also the Nurses Corps. All those organizations basically are workforce development. Okay. And what they do is they provide scholarship opportunities, loan repayment opportunities through what they call school to service opportunity. So that means if you're at a higher education organization or institution, I should say, and you desire to have your loans paid off, you can get a contract with an employer group who are a qualified site, and you would automatically go flow. Once you graduate, you'll just flow into an employment relationship because you have a contract with the HRSA, and then they will pay off all your loans. Okay. So that's one way. And then there's the scholarship, what they call the National Health Service Corps Scholar Program. Same type of a situation by which they will pay for your education through scholarship. And then, but you have to work in an underserved population. So there's multiple organizations or employment opportunities across the country. So anyways, long story short, as the journey continues and my relationship changed with health partners, you know, like in football, you become a free agent. Yeah. So the word, I guess, got on the street that now Byron is a free agent. Yes. So one of the colleagues...
come and talk with us.
Exactly. They reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in helping out with this workforce development project. And it made sense to me. And, you know, and so the goal was to make sure that all the partnering agencies of the board that they partnered with, such as, you know, Coleman and Safi and so on and so forth, were compliant for loan repayment opportunities. So there's a process for every program that those organizations had to do certain things to make sure they're compliant so they could advertise that we're a work site that is approved for loan repayment opportunities.
So I think that's all valuable information because, as we all know, there is a shortage of providers. Correct. And how do we, little bitty Allen, Auglaize, and Hardin counties, compete with the Franklin counties, the Lucas counties, the Hamilton counties, and being able to say that we want to help you get your loans repaid. We want to share with you the benefits that are out there, but people don't know because it's not just, you know, right up on the surface for folks who are in school. So coming into the program. So I'm thankful for Byron's outreach and services because folks just don't know. Correct. Right? You know that you're saddled with debt from college. You want to be more educated. You want to reach to the next level. But how you fund that and how you get it paid for is a huge challenge. I know some of my own struggles through navigating higher education and completing master's degrees and things of that nature. It wasn't easy. Right. But I had the desire, and not that other people don't have the desire, but there's a lot of hurdles and challenges. So thank you right up front for helping to educate folks. In layman's terms, what have you seen be repaid or forgiven for some professionals?
Well, just recently, I should say last year, one of the local agencies employee participated in pediatric loan repayment program. It's this pediatric specialty loan repayment program. And
wait for the numbers, y'all. Wait for the numbers. They're big.
Yeah, so up to $100,000. And this person emailed me back once they qualified. First of all, they were praising God.
I am too right now in this seat.
Exactly. And then thanking me for letting them know about that program. So they were able to qualify for the entire $100,000, eliminated all their debt. Of course, certain loan repayment programs, there might be a tax situation where they're tax-free, some they're taxable. So you kind of look to see how it fits into your individual situation. But in this person's situation, he received $100,000. Now that comes with a 3-year commitment.
Yeah, but that's nothing.
That's nothing because you're going to work for 3 years somewhere.
Yeah, you got to work somewhere.
Somewhere you're going to do something, you know. So that's a win-win there. Other people have participated in the various types of programs up to $50,000. There's one that is open right now called the Star. It's up to $250,000. So there's a lot of different type of opportunities along the way. So you kind of number one, where are you employed? Are they an approved site? And then number two, which one fits for your family situation? Now, a lot of times people will say, like the Star, it's a 6-year commitment. So they get kind of fearful. It's like, first of all, I don't know if I want to work here for 6 years.
Listen, for that kind of money, you better.
Exactly.
Because loan repayment programs are like 30 plus years.
Exactly.
The interest.
Absolutely. Interest.
Exactly. I mean, and that's what I try to explain to young people because, you know, they have a short window of viewpoint. I'm like, okay, I'm old now, so I can understand.
We're not old.
Mature.
We're seasoned.
Seasoned individuals.
Seasoned, absolutely.
My granddaughter thinks I'm old, though.
That's because she's young and she don't know what old is.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but anyways, so when I talk to people, I'm like, okay, you're going to commit to somebody. 6 years is really going to go by just like that.
And oftentimes for youngins, 6 years is enough time to really hone your craft.
Exactly.
Yeah, and get to know what you didn't know from the school setting.
Exactly. So if you have $120,000, and I know some clinicians, they've got $200,000 worth of debt. Yeah. I'm like, okay, just sign up, commit, and go for it, and knock that debt out and call it a day. Yeah. I mean, just think about that payment that you're going to free up that could be deferred to other things. Or some people, one person I remember through the years of sharing this information, they were able to qualify to buy a home because that was taken off the table.
That was off their report.
Yeah.
And I think too, 3-6 years, you get good at your job, you figure it might really work out well with your whole life cycle. Maybe you find your person, and maybe to not be saddled with that much debt when you're really, you're past the early start, but you're getting to where you can thrive.
Exactly.
Yeah. What a benefit.
Yeah. So that's
just the weight of having to pay off that amount of debt plays right into what we're here for, which is to talk about mental health.
Yes. Yeah.
And we know that financial burdens are a huge component of our wellness. Exactly. So that's one of the reasons why I was so excited to be able to have you come on and to share with our community that there's help out there.
Exactly.
And there's hand-holding help.
Exactly.
A lot of times you have to get on the computer and go searching for yourself. And what we know about the internet is that you make one search and you are suddenly inundated with information. You don't know what's real. You don't know how to move in some of these spaces. And I just appreciate the way that you are offering that handheld information.
Yeah, I'll come to your office.
like y'all, listen, let me say this directly to you. This is the guy you need to know.
I mean, and if I don't know, I'll call them up. I have a relationship with the bureau. I call them up, ask questions. They'll educate me as well, and we can work through things together. I'll give you an example. There was a situation where a clinician has X amount of debt, and but they were part of their a telemedicine platform, and they wanted to know if they qualify. Well, the program allows for a telemedicine platform qualification. So they could, of course, the federal government is not always at the level being able to do things the way we want things done. Would you all agree with that? Can I get an amen?
That's so well poised, the way you said that. If we were not recording, we probably would have said it a different way.
So in this situation, the person works 100% remote. And so 100% remote does not qualify for this type of a loan repayment program. I did say, maybe you need to talk to your management team and say, can we make some adjustments to my schedule? Because they'll do 75%. So that means you just come in the office one day a week. I mean, work it out. You know what I mean?
That kind of money? Exactly. Come on.
You're going to be eliminating $100,000 in your debt. One day, come on. You can talk to, I'm sure your boss will work something out, Listen. If you don't, talk to somebody else's boss. I don't know.
Talk to somebody else's boss. Absolutely. For that kind of cheese.
You just need to sit in the closet with your laptop and you're in office.
Exactly. Because, I like for clinicians to realize they're a financial engine. Because without them, the organization doesn't generate revenue.
Right.
That's right.
I mean, let's get down to the real deal, right?
Yep.
So, but I mean, some management people probably don't want me to say that, but it's the truth.
It's the truth anyway. It's the truth anyway. And please continue.
So they have to realize it's got to be a win-win for everyone, because at the end of the day, you've got to see clients. But at the end of the day, also, your family has to be taken care of. I mean, you don't want to be straddled with that debt for 30-some years if there's an opportunity to get completely out of debt. So,
well, and also when you think about if I am the clinician, which I am also, thank you, but I'm also worried about sending my kids to college. So the worst case scenario is sending a child to college while you still have debt.
Oh, yeah.
That's the worst as a parent, to think that, I want my kids to go to college and I know I'm going to have to take out some loans. So just negotiate the thing, right?
Exactly.
Folks, just negotiate the thing.
Work it out.
Yeah, work it out. Work it out.
And I'm married to a social worker.
Okay.
And let's be real, the starting pay is not always
Correct.
where it probably should. It's funny, the people who work with people get paid the least amount of money. Just
Listen, that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show.
That's another show, but since we're there,
But to think, you're coming in at maybe this base salary as a new social worker. I mean, what a benefit to know that in a few years you can be out of this, and then like I said, you're growing in your job and hopefully getting promotions and things. That would have been huge for us had we known anything was available.
so I will say on a segue right here that if you have an opportunity to talk to some people in the federal government who might, like your senators and your House representatives and things of that nature, who might have a voice to try to help with these type of programs, because the program is not designed right now like for scholarships. Scholarships are not available for the behavioral health field, but we have a major problem on a national level.
Yeah.
But you would think that the behavioral health professional could get the same type of benefit that your nurse practitioners get, but there's scholarships for them. Scholarships for physician assistants, scholarships for physicians, scholarships for dentists, but no scholarship for the behavioral health specialists. And I tend to have a problem with that. And I'm like, I don't understand why that's not available. But at the same token, I understand historically, in the eyes of the community, your doctor was at the top of the food chain. In other words, they get to dictate policy and things of that nature. So we need to figure out a way to bring the behavioral health professionals up a little bit higher so they have a voice. But that's just another soapbox that I can get on.
That's such a great point to speak about historically how we've gotten to where we are.
Yes.
And these are the things that we're talking about now, like a working wage for folks who are doing the work.
Yes.
And so, and also we know that our doctors don't always start as doctors, right? Many of the doctors started off as something else,
Right.
And then they have been educated and grown and promotions and all of the things. Why wouldn't we take care of the folks upstream?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's also still a shortage of even
Doctors and nurses.
doctors and nurses.
Especially in primary care.
Yeah, if you want to get into psychologists and things, I think if you can build the base,
Exactly.
it'll.
We just solved all of the world's problems just right
like,
now.
Like we talk about with a lot of guests, there's been a lot of positive growth toward just mental health stigma, and it's becoming a more recognized part of communities and things. But obviously, there's a lot of growth that still needs to happen, and this is a perfect example of that. Like, yeah, it's more accepted now. And you said historically, well, I think it's time to be done with the historically thing.
Exactly. So one thing that I have noticed great opportunities is with high school students, that I get the opportunity to speak at some of the, local high schools and what have you, do different types of educational fairs and what have you. And that gives me the opportunity to share the journey of what, if they're interested in this field, okay, here's the things that you need to do along the way. And one thing that's really interesting is, I think, what is it called, the CCP or?
College Credit Plus, CCP?
Yes, College Credit Plus. I didn't know what the CCP stood for because there's a lot of acronyms out there, so I hear people say that. I'm like, what is that again? But anyways, what I've noticed that students, if they can participate in that type of a journey, of course, they're going to eliminate a lot of debt situations, but it'll allow them to get into that field a little bit quicker, which is great. I mean, just imagine, you get your associate degree when you graduate from high school. 2 to 3 more years to go and you're done. Yeah. I mean, you eliminate that debt and whew, that's a great opportunity.
So for our listeners, CCP is College Credit Plus, as Byron said. What that basically means is that while you're in high school, you're able to take some of the courses, some of the coursework for your associate's program. So maybe you're getting rid of your gen eds, right? Maybe you're getting rid of your Psych 101, your Math 101s, all of those classes. So I think that's another reason that this is so important, because it is just about debt. And not only is it eliminating debt, it's also taking away that fear of first year when you're going into college, right? The fear of what's going to happen. Well, if you get that knowledge under your belt as a high school person, then when you get to college, there's a little less fear. There's a little less anxiety about, oh, what's it going to look like? Well, I had these classes in high school, so I know what it's like to be on a college campus. And then there's the financial plus of mom and dad aren't burdened with those first few classes. So if to my high schoolers and to my parents of high schoolers, if CCP is an option for you, please look into it. It is a phenomenal benefit. My kids benefited from some CCP plus stuff, and it's just a great win-win. And a lot of our kids don't know about it, and they're a little bit fearful. But like you're saying, talk to somebody who knows. Talk to somebody who can hold your hand and who can share with you, this is doable.
Exactly.
This is doable.
They probably get to jump in on the more fun stuff once they go to college, because they've already taken care of some of that.
Easy. We don't tell them about the fun stuff.
I mean, more interesting classes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Classes,
Yeah.
sure. Classes. Yeah.
So we've talked about some of these benefits to help people get into the field. I guess my question for both of you is, why would somebody want to do this work in the first place? Again, married to a social worker, I see some of the tough stuff, but what are some benefits of, we're talking recruiting. What we need more, but what's the plus of getting into behavioral health?
So for me, I was drawn to the helping professions because I know what I didn't have coming up. When I was in school, I did not have many professionals that looked like me, who were able to relate to what my experience was. And so that's what got me into my first work as an educator. And then during education, while I was working in education, I realized that in order to help this student, I also needed to step back and to help the families. And then in doing that work, I realized just what were the huge challenges that families are facing. And so it just grew my need to be more educated and to help in a different way. And so even now, the ability to listen and to share resources and to just help folks navigate life is just heartfelt for me. And I'm so thankful to all of the folks that I get to sit with and listen as a clinician or in my church as helper in the leadership teams there, just being able to help folks, because life is hard. Life is hard, and we need folks to be able to just listen and to share information. And as you said earlier, the pay is not always the greatest. I'm in a space now where I'm doing okay, but back in the beginning, it was hard. But we still inherently have the desire to help folks. And when I'm talking with my students, some time ago, they always said, when I ask them, what do you want to be? They always say, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a teacher, because they want to help. It's a part of the human nature that we want to help people. So that's the benefit for me. I get to sit, I get to listen, and then along the way through spaces like this, I become educated, which means I'm more likely to share more and better resources for all of the masses. So it's just always been a blessing for me to be able to sit with folks and to listen and to share. And so I'm thankful to be able to know how we can help financially to get folks into this field.
Yeah.
And I would also like to add that I think why people might be interested in this field is based on personal situations, as far as personal traumas they might have went through, situations of family being abused and that caused an anger about them, and they want to do something about it. Like, why do you want to be a cop? Well, because this happened. Yeah. Why you want to be this? Because that happened. Or it could be also part of the family. Everybody in the family is a doctor. Everybody in the family is a teacher. Everybody in the family happens to be in community behavioral health field or something of that nature. They've seen that as part of their culture. And so therefore they want to continue that journey because they see how mom helps so-and-so, how dad helps so-and-so, or so, things of that nature. And they just want to follow that line. And it's easy for them. It comes easy for them. It's natural. So, I think a lot of times that is part of it as well.
Yeah. So I hear you. I was a teacher before this, and half my family's teachers. But it sounds to me like, it's a calling.
Yes.
From your heart, whether it's your situation or I know for my wife that she wanted to help people. So it is awesome to hear that there's some opportunities to follow.
To help the helpers.
Yeah, to help the helper. Follow your heart, and it's not a dead-end career by any means. And now there's some more help to...
Now in this space, there's room for... what I have said in other educational spaces is that there is not an occupation out there that does not include some form of mental health care, right? If I'm a cop, I need to take care of my mental wellness. If I'm a sanitational worker, I need to take care of my financial or my mental health. If I work in retail, all of the places, there's not a job out there that your mental health does not play a part of. Even if you're working as a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, you still need to take care of yourself in order to take care of your family. So there's not an occupation, paid or not paid, that's not impacted by mental health and wellness. So helping the helpers financially in this space is just such a benefit.
Have we increased behavioral health workers since this has started? And, what's growth like and what are some goals?
The answer is yes. I don't really have all those numbers, but I'm sure there's Katie at the Mental Health Board has those numbers. I mean, I report the numbers, but what I've seen is, when I do the various career fairs and what have you and talking to students, I know students have, applied, been accepted at local universities like Rhodes College. They're grown their numbers. I know Ohio State has grown their numbers. I know Bluffton has grown in some numbers as well. So the answer is yes. Also, I know in this journey that students that say that they're interested in nursing, they weren't aware that there was a community behavioral health track to go down as far as nursing. They never considered like a Coleman as an employer. Right. Or they've never considered a family resource center as an employer as a nurse, because they never really considered community behavioral health journey in nursing.
You're just thinking
hospital, nursing homes, or that's about it. So they weren't aware of that. So I do know that there's been some inquiries, especially when there's scholarship dollars involved. If you continue to work here, I mean, if you look at this track, there's an opportunity for all your education to be paid for. So the answer is yes.
Yes. And what's also interesting in career counseling spaces, whether they're high school guidance counselors or even when I'm sitting with folks professionally in private practice, knowing that there is this resource absolutely benefits, because a lot of people want to enter our field, but the financial burden is always a part of whether or not they're able to attend. So I'm going to add to that yes, emphatically, that we know that when we can offer financial help and just the information, it helps to tear down the stigma and burdens of getting into this field.
And also, let me add, right now there's a program through the state of Ohio that if you were in the field and you got away from the field for a minute, you needed to, you can come back. There's a comeback program right now that is compensating $3,000 to those who want to come back. So if you'd like to know more about that, just let me know, and I can share a little bit of knowledge on that information.
Listen, I'm going to add this again. I know I've already said it. If you are thinking about, it's worth the conversation. If you're thinking about, I want to go back to school, I don't know, or I'm working and I'm still straddled with this debt, but I want to do other things, please ask the smart questions. Talk to the guy.
Yeah, Byron's the guy.
Talk to the guy. So talk to me about, what does it look like if I am that young person and I'm listening, or I'm that mom and I want to go back to school. I'm listening to this podcast or I'm hearing the outtakes. what does it look like? So I know I need to call this guy. What are you going to say to me if I call you?
Well, I guess I'm going to probably ask a few questions as far as what is it, how do you want to help?
Okay.
Because are you looking for certifications? You want to get right into the workforce and things of that nature, so you can, you don't really have an interest of a 4-year degree type situation. You just want to start working in the field. So there could be that journey. We can work on that journey as far as becoming certified in certain areas. And there's employers who are looking for people who want to become certified and go right into the workforce of helping people. And I'll give you an example. So people who have struggled with substance abuse or mental health issues and what have you, and they're on their journey of recovery, a lot of times they like to have, or a lot of times a peer recovery person coming alongside of them and helping them on that journey. Well, in the state of Ohio, you can become certified in that particular area. You can become a certified peer recovery supporter. So you are getting paid. You're actually a provider at this stage, and you're getting paid to come along and help somebody on their journey of recovery. Well, that doesn't require a 4-year degree. That requires a certification through the state of Ohio.
And lived experience.
A lived experience, exactly.
Valuable.
Very much so. And then in that journey, a person realized, I like this. I want more. I want to learn more. I want more education. So now they go down another level of education, get another certification, or they might get a degree or something of that nature. And at the end of the day, over that period of time, journey, now they become a licensed independent social worker, licensed professional clinical counselor. They might become a nurse practitioner that specializes in psych. It's so vast and wide that they can go, but it could start with that journey.
Yeah.
That was exactly the model that I took, right? I started in one space. It wasn't in substance use and learning, but it was in the educational space. I started one space. It led to something else. It led to something else. It led to something else. That's exactly the model that happened for me. And that's what I like to share with my young students who are just graduating high school, because it might be hard if no one in your family attended traditional school that way and you don't know what to expect. It's the equivalent of baby steps.
Yep.
So you get a little bit of education, you realize, oh, I did that. I can do this, right? So I'm thankful for the hand-holding.
Yes.
I'm thankful for the hand-holding. I benefited from that way. I have benefited others by that hand-holding process, and it sounds like that's what you're doing on the financial side, and that's a huge burden and a great ability to be able to help folks.
So if someone was interested, how should they get a hold of you?
I'm glad you asked.
So I do have an email. It's Byron, makes it easy, BYRON, at mhrsb.org. So that's one way, or you can give me a call, 419-665-3573. That is my office number, but let's deal with reality in today's society. Office is always mobile, so therefore that's my office number, but like all my other numbers, they come right to my cell phone.
That's great. That's great.
Well, I'm pumped that you're on the show.
Well, appreciate it. Thank you.
Helping get more social workers, behavioral health. I mean, we need it.
There's so many people that I have said when they were talking about, how do I get this done? I'm like, there's a guy. There's a guy. I know. You need to know this guy. Yeah. You need to know this guy because financial help and resources are out there.
Yeah, I'm the guy.
Well, I'm going to wrap it up with
absolutely do the thing.
Our thing. So as always, if you need more help or resources, you can dial 988. And that will hook you up with all kinds of resources, not just mental health and recovery, but all kinds of community resources. And you can go to wecarepeople.org to learn more about Byron's program and all the initiatives that the We Care people have going on. And the Ascend Notify app, our plug for that. So this is it says app. It's a texting service. You text it, say, hey, I want these alerts, and they are community health alerts. And they come right to your phone. It's just like a normal text. So what I do is I get the notification, I read it and say, wow, I didn't know that.
I'm informed.
And you don't have to interact with it at all. But that's things, I mean, you've explained you can sign up for different types of notifications you want, depending on your life situation. But sometimes it's, hey, this is going on in the community, like a certain type of drug is on the rise, or we're giving away free Narcan here. So that kind of thing. But also, there's a free training on this date. There's a movie screening coming up that might interest you.
As professionals, those free CEU notifications.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
I'm for it.
This is just my go-to example, but when flu was really bad, I got a text that said, flu is very high, hospitals are full, if you're sick, stay home. And it was just like, oh, good to know. Like, if I got the sniffles, I'm not going to work. To sign up for those alerts, you simply text START, S-T-A-R-T, to 888-701-2578. So I encourage you to sign up. And if you are in crisis, there's always the Hope line 24/7, 1-800-567-HOPE, or you can walk into the crisis center on South Main Street. And for extreme emergencies, call 911.
Please.
Please.
Call 911.
And just a reminder that, well, Lisa is very licensed and has the credentials. This is a podcast for information. If you need some real professional help, seek it out via those platforms. So thanks for listening or watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.